I just need to tell you that I'm being recorded. The sentence I need to say is that this meeting will be recorded for minutes and perhaps to be broadcast online later on. So after saying that, I hope everything is working fine. So I'll begin with sharing the screen. Excellent. We have people here from Dyffryn Conwy. Can you see that? Now, I'm trying, what I'm doing is trying to, the band is in the way, but welcome here. It's a chance to share our experience and reflect on our learning in creative ways. And last week, I asked you whether if you had the opportunity, whether you could go out for a little while and then share your experiences. And I set up I'll for that. So what I'd like to do is just to begin with, to see who's here and just to see whether you've had anything out of the experience and whether you can share something. I can't see the people who take part now. Is there anybody who wants to say anything, to contribute, something that they have done? You must unmute if you want to say something.
Anya, you put something up, didn't you? Would you like to share what you said, what you've done?
I'm happy to share, Anita.
If I click on this, then we can see what you've done.
Yeah, you go for that then. Yeah.
Yeah, Diane. Yeah. Okay.
Well done.
So, now scroll aloud again.
Yeah.
I'll scroll down.
Yeah.
And
so
you can
here,
just explain.
Yeah. Here I was in Bodlandub in the woods in Bodlandub in Conway, and the first one where the den is made, well, my children had made a den in the woods, so I played around with lots of stuff that I found to make letters, numbers, to go with numeracy. Here, that's a camel, maybe. Just using the wood and the sticks and the leaves, and I made some hearts, and I used to make a 5 frame for the maths, because we use that a lot with the younger children to show the numeracy and the whole part models, especially with the smaller children. The 5 frame, it helps them to recognize the numbers up to 5, and then we increase it to the 10 frame, and it really helps when they're learning how to add one more, take one away. It's very visual, and we do that outside a lot with them in our outdoor area. So I was just trying to connect, and then I thought with the hearts, you can connect that to the language with the Welsh, Cymraeg, the Calon, symbols, the symbol of love, and especially now with Valentine's and with the Santa's Doinwen just gone by, and with the environment, with the green, and nature. And I just try to, I think we have to all see that all this is just around us all the time, with opportunities to put it into learning all the time. So that I'm not that creative, but I gave it a go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, super. Miss McBride.
Okay, can you hear? I've got the Llandogged School. Are you there?
Well,
can you unmute? Yes. Sorry. Yes, I'm Gareth. Just to share a few links from the school Twitter, things that we did last term. We said, you know, because the school, the vision school, the school's vision with the open air, we created a muddy, oh well, we call it a Wild Wednesday. So that happened every week. And we, to begin with, we as teachers tried some ideas ourselves, but the open air centres in Conwy trialled, well, because children couldn't go to them, they trialled coming out to the schools last term. So we had a member of the NantPH to come over to us to help. So that helped us then, well, gave us training then. And we've got the children from the foundation phase here doing things, creating shapes of letters. And as you can see there, and we did a lot of problem solving skills. And then big art, where we used the school field to do this. And so it is something we want to continue doing ourselves. The teachers themselves hope to continue after half term, so that the foundation stage children can carry on with this Wild Wednesday. So thank you. That is very good. And I hope that it will be possible for you to carry on. Well, indeed, I hope so. That is the hope. With what we get from you, that will help us to plan. And the school council is part of this as well. What they want to see in the areas, they want a more permanent shelter, etc. So yes, there are plans in the pipeline. It's good to see them as well, wearing their those clothes. Yes, we had invested in outdoor clothes for the foundation period. And so, you know, they're rainproof. So we hope to do the same for Key Stage 2 as well, so that we don't have to worry about clothes, etc. And they can be out in all weather. That's an excellent idea that you do that. It's important in the winter, isn't it, when they do outdoor activities, etc. And teachers as well. So, you know, that they don't get wet and dirty as well. Excellent, thank you. So now, I think Branwen has joined us. Can she talk a little bit about what she has been doing?
I'm trying to do it on my phone today, I'm afraid, and I'm not sure how well it's working.
Welcome.
Yay!
I'm glad you managed to join us this time. And,
oh my word! Every time 4 o'clock arrives, it just all goes crazy.
Do you want to say anything about these pictures that you put up?
Well, yeah, basically that was a really successful week. We used to be able to run D&V in school, but since they've changed the licensing, we can't actually do it in the real time.
Was that a sheep noise? Was that a sheep that was in the picture?
Say again?
I thought I heard the sheep, and I just wondered if it was a sheep just in this bit of the picture.
It's not in the picture, no.
Yeah. So you're hoping to do other things instead of the D&V? And
well, I don't know what's possible really, but this might give us some ideas.
Fab. Nobody else I can see has put something on Padlet, but do you want to say anything? Can you put your hand up? I'm sorry,
so could you put your hand up, please, if you want to contribute, or if you want to put something in the chat to add something? I can't see you myself, so if you could help by doing that, by writing it down in chat and let me know. We're going back now to the screen. So I don't hear anything.
Okay, Nani, carry on.
Okay, we'll carry on. And if you want to say something, so, well, the reasons why should we share our experiences? Do you have any, if you have any ideas why, put it in the chat. It's good to see there that people have shared, and I think it's quite nice to see what you do. If you want to say something. Was there a message from somebody else? One of the greatest reasons, I think, is this matter of creating knowledge. There is a man called Paulo Freire, perhaps you know about his work, The Pedagogy of the Oppressed, and he mentions that we are like these empty vessels, that we're not empty vessels being filled, but we have information and we all have our own truth. So in order to create information, we all need to be part of creating information. And just for an example, those of you sharing information through tablets, we've all learned something. We've all had different ideas already, and just something simple. So looking at the curriculum now, the creative contributors who are willing to play a full part, that's very relevant to this idea of sharing. And I think in the last week, we mentioned these rules of practice with that project with young people taking part in developing. And this element of don't do something only, talk about it. We mentioned that, didn't we? And the idea with efficiency, self-efficiency, and how important it is to review what has happened so that we can learn and feed into this cycle. So I think what we did last week, there's this element of sharing is important. So that again, how self-efficiency feeds into active citizenship, and we'd link that to the curriculum last time as well. So moving on then, I'm thinking, well, who do we share with whom? We can share with ourselves. So looking back at what you have done on a personal level, that you can share with your peers. We've had an example there of some of you sharing with your peers on this course, our community, or the wider community, or of course, publicly. And that then feeds in again to this idea of creating information, and we can share that information within our little circle, or we can share it wider. And that is relevant to the pupils and us as people who teach. So thinking on that first level, we can mention debriefing, the activities. Perhaps we can consider things such as feelings, what we enjoyed, feeling freedom. Were we afraid? Were we nervous? Perhaps what our expectations were. And did the experience match to what we expected? And then did we learn any skills? It's nice as well to think about when we work with our peers. Well, it's an opportunity for children to tell other children whether they've done something well. And I think that helps everybody and gives confidence to children. And we have this circle of learning here, Kolb's learning cycle from 1984. And if you go online, you can have this information, you can have this experience. And then by debriefing activities, we begin to learn from it. And they learn, and we can, you know, play more with this and go round and round the circle. So what can we do to make this, how can we consider this sharing within ourselves on various levels? A few years ago, I was a part of this project, the Snowdonia Slate Trail, and I've given a PowerPoint of that on the tablet for you. That tablet was for a training course. I was working with various schools along the trail. One of them was a Llanllechid school, and the head teacher was Marion Jones, and she tied it all in to the term's work. And we had this scrapbook. So some of the books which she did, showing children doing outdoor activities. And then we had an event in the Slate Museum, and I gave the schools a chance to share what they had done if they wanted, and we had activities with the children, and we mixed up children from various schools, and they had done this performance based and linked the work which they did to the Slate Trail project. And you can see performing there. So this is a song here. So that was an excellent performance, and I did so well. We invited them to come back when we were launching the trail, and they went on stage there. So what we really enjoyed about that was the fact that we succeeded in tying in the work we'd done with the trail and the outdoor activities with the classwork, and it all came together, and they could share it with other pupils and other teachers. And this book was brought to the event, and other teachers then could see what they'd been doing. Here, this is another example of the arts. You can see there, we've got this Amanita muscara here, connected with trees, and it's nice that children can do this, which is connected with this mushrooms which grow by the trees. So that's a different direction to go in, but a good one. Another thing we've done was, well, how can we share with other children? And I mentioned about Llanllechid School children sharing there. Another example here, we have in the Ysgwrn, as part of you can see children there. Can you see the child in the red jumper, the lady on the red jumper on the side of the screen there? She was taking children around and explaining them about the the black chair there in the Ysgwrn, and they'd taken them around the house and explained things to them. And on the right-hand side, you've got children taking adults around. So they were giving guided tours to the public, and you can do that if you've gone for a walk somewhere to get the children to teach others. And I think we all know once you begin teaching somebody, it really makes you have to learn things yourself. Another thing I'll just share here is just some of the video about landscapes and how much work they've done in Scotland, and they've got a lot on YouTube here. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of this one.
This place isn't like a playground anymore, it's like a building site. And that's what we do now when we're out at break. We build stuff and make stuff. We've got sand and water and planks and stones and tree stumps. The dairy gave us milk crates, and we've got loads of stuff for making dens. And we got straw bales from the farm. Brilliant for building and jumping on and making nests. Someone was cutting down their tree, so they chopped it up and gave it to us, and that gave us the idea of playing jungles. Then the primary ones started doing jungles in class too.
That video goes on, but I'm just going to move on. I mentioned some of the activities using things like little branches and things, and then it is an example of them playing later on now. It's just coming up here somewhere.
I can see hocking him at us, it just geodatrys problem.
You've got a boy there who's trying to solve a problem, and you know, so it allows him to do so. And perhaps we should, you know, think over that process with them, see whether they can find a different way of doing this. And I'll just move on a little bit further to another bit. We've got other children then who've come out to play, to join them.
It's a river! Yeah, hold up with me!
So more plants and
So the children at playtime here.
Often the playground and what the children do there goes unnoticed and can be seen as irrelevant to the so-called real purpose of school. But what's happening here in North Lanarkshire shows how changes in physical settings, resources and adult attitudes can recognise and release the dynamic power of children's play.
This is brilliant! This is brilliant! Look at the hay! Brilliant! This is for Shy! You stuck it right here!
So that's finished there, but to me, to share, the children have been out playing in the fields and they've had fun with the materials. Why can't they share that and bring it into the schoolyard so that other children can play with it? And if you want to learn more about that process, well, there are lots of different examples of clips which you can use. Another way is to think, well, what can they do? I'm thinking about citizenship now, what they can do to influence. So here we've got an example of plants which create a problem. We've got the Himalayan balsam here on the left, and that has pink flowers, and you can see the seeds there, and then they disperse everywhere. So it spreads into rivers and carried down, and it stops then the native plants to grow. The best way to get rid of them is to just take them up with your hands. So it's a task that people can do without tools. And then just raising awareness then that they can do that. So that can be part of your sharing. That could be a conservation work and sharing the importance of doing that. And like we've had last week with the children, with the National Trust, they did some work with their rhododendron ponticum. You can see there the importance of getting rid of rhododendron ponticum because that spreads as well. So if, you know, you can, maybe this is more for secondary school, but also you could do it with primary school children and have a campaign to raise awareness. Well, another thing I want to talk about is recording. So we had this to record the Vaccinum myrtillus. So there's a possibility of doing things digitally. There's numeracy skills and digital skills. Then you can, with numeracy skills, you can have graph statistics, and then you've got the writing skills, which can vary from writing reports, and then sketches, and then map skills. With, you know, there are maps, etc. You can look at those. Then you can use grid references and GPS. Then as far as wildlife's concerned, there are apps for those, such as iRecord and iNaturalist. Then there's something called Covnod, and they look after all the, if you register with them and then feed what you see straight in. As I was saying before, you know, with, well, here we've got, this is a record of, you can see swallows there. And you can see there's a way for you to take part in that with swifts rather than swallows. So, you know, why can't you contribute something like this? The possibilities, there's an opal there. And then the RSPB do some with birds. So the birds you see, etc. And these are things which a community can do together, really. And they could record what's there, what birds are there. Another thing which I have done is the recording archaeology. Maybe this isn't just so as relevant, but as far as skills are concerned, it's so useful. This is a sketch which one of the young people did out in the field in the Carneddau, recording the, you can see ruins here. And I was working for the Gwynedd Archaeological Trust then. And can I just share a little video, a project which I ran, and I had money for this. And I'll just share this with you.
My name is Daniel and I help run Archaeologwyr Antares Eryri. This is a young people's project run by Gwynedd Archaeological Trust.
The project is a fantastic way for young people to get in touch with history of the local area.
Dwi'n meddwl bod pawb wedi cael hwyl yn y prosiect mae Archaeologwyr Antares Eryri wedi setio fyny I pobl ifanc.
You can see lots of interesting archaeological sites around Gwynedd and other places, so that's quite good.
My hat's got off.
We're having a good time. Yes, I'm filming.
Yeah, we're having a good time. Having a good time.
Through these experiences, I've enjoyed meeting new people and becoming friends with new people, exploring places that I never thought existed, and learning about local history, which is incredibly important.
The project's main aim is to provide opportunities for the county's young people to engage with the historical and archaeological landscape of Gwynedd.
Da ni wedi cael neu lot o bethau cyffroes fel mynd i gampio, canrio a cerdded y mynyddoedd.
It's also a fantastic way for them to meet new people and have fun in the outdoors.
And the project was made possible by funding from Heritage Lottery Fund Young Roots and Natural Resources Wales. We also work in partnership with Earth, who provide logistical support in terms of transport, equipment, health and safety, and outdoor instruction. It's been a very successful project, and I think the young people and staff alike have gotten a lot out of the various activities.
Mae hwn wedi bod yn profiad anhygoel.
Yes.
Twn i'n neud eto, twn i'n cael y cyfle.
So that was an excellent project for us to do. In addition to, the young people from various schools coming together and benefiting, they were talking amongst each other, and they came together in Glanllyn. We worked with the but what they did, they were doing the adventure activities, but they do a lot of recording as well. And one of the things in the feedback at the end of the project was how they thought how powerful that had been and how much they'd enjoyed being a part of actually recording something properly. So, it not only was it an education experience, but they were contributing as well. So that's important. The children appreciated the fact that they were contributing towards the community there. So that was an excellent opportunity. I mentioned at the beginning about creating information. Well, the young people there certainly were creating information, and they were recording archaeological sites, etc. So I'll then we'll mention now from the viewpoint of what you would think. Well, what do you want to get out of sharing? Do you want to put something in the chat? If you can think of something specific, or add to this list which I have here, so we can share amongst ourselves, we can share ideas, experiences, resources, what works, what does not work, what was really useful. The Llandoged School mentioned, we mentioned with Llandoged School having suitable clothes for the children, what activities they enjoyed. There was mention there of the maths, etc., and that was useful. I don't know if there's anybody there. Celebrating, yes, celebrating, yes. Anybody else with ideas? So that video was a good way for them to celebrate what they'd been doing. So support, success, yes, thank you, Anya. Success, certainly worth doing that, and that helps with that cycle which I mentioned at the beginning, that as they become citizens of the world. And Heli has said, show what's possible to inspire others. Thank you. Inspiring. So cooperating. I mentioned about the Slate Trail, the teachers came together and they had enjoyed that opportunity of coming together, and we'd enjoyed working with the State Museum. And it's saying, would you like to say how you enjoyed cooperating? You're welcome to give examples there, most welcome. And then useful contacts. Perhaps you have worked with somebody and out external organization that you could share details with others. So where have we reached with this project? Becca has just set up Facebook for you. Bethan, are you there? Would you like to explain a little bit more about that? Yes. Following these events, which we've started a Facebook group, and the group is available for any teacher who works in the Carnedda area. And the purpose of the group really is to continue this discussion and also to begin new discussions about outdoor learning, but also just about learning about the local area in general. So I, over the next years, will be keeping that Facebook up to date with resources which are available online. And we've spoken about a lot of them already, but I'll talk about apps, workbooks, and all these videos will be there. And as well, I and others in partnership with the area as well will be talking about free resources. And that's the purpose of the Facebook group, is to share free resources, so that anything you find, anything that people can use, then we also will be advertising opportunities to take part in the scheme, such as a school or as individuals. And you as well will be able to contact me easily through that Facebook group as well. So say you are looking for a resource, a specific resource, I can try and help you find it, or the other teachers in the group can help you find it. And you can share what you've done already, or, we'll have a little bit of hive mind really. And we have so many resources at our disposal within the scheme. I really want to make sure that I contact the teachers and make sure that you have the help you require to create lessons for the future. So please do join the group and begin discussions, ask for help. There will be a lot of people available, the Natural Trust, NRW, Penman Mawr Museum, RSPB, they are all partners and they're all desperate to talk to the children in your school. So do use that through that Facebook group. Thank you. Has anybody got any questions to Becca about some other support or what's available, or anything they want to ask? Whilst you think, I'd just like to thank the people who have contributed, and you're welcome to continue to put things up, and I can put up the videos which I've mentioned and other things up as well. And if you want to go back and look at the slide show, of course, that will be useful to you as well. The only thing I want to mention now is that we do have this mentoring scheme. So if you're interested in that, it can be handy. There's one-to-one support to help you with planning your outdoor activities over the next few weeks. So let me know about that. And I've held a survey on SurveyMonkey. So it takes 5 minutes, and Becca will go through it then. And so I'm sure that you can write a little bit more. It won't take much of your time then if you'll do that. So I'll share that in an email. I didn't want to put it up here, but I'll share that with you all, the survey. And there'll be a link as well to the playlist which Becca's created on YouTube. So all those will be there in the playlist. Are there any comments or questions or anything else? Is there a better way for us to share this material with you? Perhaps you have a problem with your Facebook or tablets and you've got other ideas maybe. If so, please let us know. Well, thank you for what you put in the chat as well. All those who contributed to the chat. Thank you for that. We do appreciate what you have put in the chat. Oh, you sound very far away. Well, I was just thanking everybody for what you've put in the chat. And I'd like to thank you all for contributing. And we'll hope to, it's good to see how hard you work.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Thank you.